to Beirut. France 24's Rawa Taha is standing by for us. Rawa, good to have you with us this morning. A rapidly developing story, but the Iranian-backed militant group, it had been pledging to retaliate for Israel's assassination of a senior commander last month. Just tell us, what is the very latest?
This is quite a developing story. So earlier in the morning hours, Israel has launched a series of what it called pre-emptive strikes into tens of targets in southern Lebanon, in particular weapons storage facilities and rocket launchers as well. Moreover, what we know for a fact is that Hezbollah just announced a few minutes ago that it had attacked over 11 sites in northern Israel, 11 military sites in northern Israel. While this is still quite a developing story, it seems that it is still somewhat contained between the two parties, despite the fact that Israel has announced 48 hours of national emergency where the country is on high alert.
We say the situation is contained for the moment, Rawat, but there have been months of concerns about a possible widening of the war and escalation in Gaza, a regional escalation. Do you think this could perhaps be the moment?
Definitely, this is a very concerning story. The next few hours will be very alarming on how the situation develops inside southern Lebanon and to what extent the Israelis will be attacking more targets across the area.
And there have been near daily exchanges of fire between Israel and Lebanon. Just give us some of the context. What has it been like there over the past, since the beginning of the war in Gaza? This is something that people there, they've really become used to, this daily exchange of fire, but nothing on this scale as of yet.
Southern Lebanon has been in the state of war for the past 10 months, ever since the conflict between Hamas in Gaza and Israel started. Hezbollah launched this supporting front for Hamas from southern Lebanon, and Israel has been attacking Hezbollah sites in southern Lebanon frequently over the past 10 months, mostly military targets and Hezbollah personnel. More than 500 casualties have already been killed, or more than 500 people have already been killed in southern Lebanon, mostly Hezbollah fighters. But to a certain extent, it was very limited to the area of 10 kilometers range, close to the border with northern Israel, and lesser to some extent in the rest of southern Lebanon, and a few less targets across the entire country. But obviously, the next few hours will be very alarming to whether this could lead to a large-scale war between Israel and Hezbollah, or it will just be another round in this continued fighting.
Yeah, like you say, rapidly developing story. Hezbollah just saying there as well that it's launched more than 300 rockets towards Israel. Rawa, just from what you know, is Iran likely to be behind this? Is Tehran orchestrating what we are seeing happening on the ground this morning?
Now, if you know for a fact that Iran has also been planning to retaliate against an airstrike in Tehran, or actually the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, there was some intel or information on that attack could have been simultaneous with the attack launched by Hezbollah in retaliation to the assassination of Fuad Shukr, but it is not the case. Obviously, we're seeing a separate attack by Hezbollah on its own, but it is evident that Hezbollah is an Iranian-backed group. It's funded and it's armed by Iran, so there are definitely clear connections between Iran and Hezbollah, and continuous communication, and the two parties are definitely planning ahead the next steps in this war.
And it says Hezbollah now that it has completed the first phase of its response to Israel's killing of the group's top commander in that strike in Beirut last month. Raoud, has there been any reaction in Lebanon to what's happening? It's obviously still very early in the morning there as well.
Not a lot of reactions from any Lebanese officials. It is still very early in the morning. No statement from the Prime Minister's office yet. The only two statements we've seen are from Hezbollah, the first announcing the start of the retaliation, and the second, which you just mentioned, which was only issued a few minutes ago, where Hezbollah mentioned that the first phase of this operation is over for the time being.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there for now. The Israeli military, Rawat, also saying that most of its attacks against Hezbollah are finished for the moment, but that they will continue to strike anywhere there is a threat. That the latest coming in there from the
Yeah,
Israeli military.
yeah.
Rawat, thank you so much.
These two statements reflect some sense of containment that is still being done on both sides of the border. This is why I mentioned initially that this could be just another phase in this conflict, given the nature of statements coming from both sides.
And the Israeli Prime Minister as well holding a security cabinet meeting as we speak also. Rawat, thank you so much for that update. That is France 24's Rawa Taha.